Night had fallen hard over the village. The storm had passed only an hour before, leaving the red earth wet and glistening. Puddles reflected a pale, broken moon. The road once called familiar now felt like a boundary between worlds. Children slept with their mothers' arms wrapped tightly around them. Chickens and goats were penned early. Not a single foot dared to touch the mother's road after dark. Yet in the distance, the deep growl of an engine broke the silence. It was a black SUV, big and fast, its headlights cutting through the mist like knives. Inside sat a man named Okoro, the kind of man who had built his life on speed, greed, and recklessness. He had heard the stories of the glowing woman and child, but scoffed at them. He laughed as he pressed his foot harder on the accelerator. But the road had been waiting for him. As the SUV neared the bend where yams and cassava had once spilled, the mist thickened. Okoro's radio hissed, then went silent. The headlights flickered. He leaned forward, cursing, gripping the steering wheel. And then he saw them. In the center of the road, a figure stood, brighter than the headlights, a woman wrapped in a glowing cloth that moved without wind. Beside her, a boy clutched her hand, his small face solemn. Their eyes burned like coals. Okoro slammed on the brakes. Tires screeched. The SUV skidded sideways, splashing mud, until it came to a stop only a few steps from the figures. Heart pounding, he stumbled out, rainwater soaking his fine clothes. "Who are you?" he shouted into the mist. The woman did not move. The boy did not blink. A low sound rose from the earth, not thunder but a hum, like the murmur of ancestors speaking through the soil. The air grew heavy. Okoro felt his knees weaken. For the first time in years, he remembered the prayers his mother used to say. He remembered the warnings of his grandmother. He dropped to the wet ground, trembling. "Forgive me," he whispered. "I didn't know." Mama Ijoma raised her hand slowly. She did not speak. She did not strike. She simply looked at him with eyes full of sorrow and fire. The boy's glow brightened, wrapping around the man like a shroud. For a heartbeat, Okoro felt everything: the pain of the crash, the last breath of a child, the unbroken promise of a grandmother. And then the glow receded. The figures turned and began to walk away, fading into the mist. When Okoro looked up, they were gone. Only the puddles and the red dirt remained. He drove back to the village at a crawl, shaken to his soul. At dawn, he told anyone who would listen, voice cracking with fear, that the stories were true, that the mother's road had a keeper, and that the keeper had spared him only because he begged. That morning, elders gathered under the big Udala tree. They spoke of fences, of shrines, of prayers for the dead. Some wanted to close the road completely. Others said it had become holy ground. But one truth settled over all of them. Mama Ijoma and Chinyonso had not gone quietly. Their love had transformed into a warning, a protection, and a judgment. The mother's road was no longer just a path of red earth. It was a threshold, and the grandchild's keeper still walked it.